Hey team, welcome to another episode of the Industry Leader Podcast, where we interview the best and the brightest in the world in training, nutrition, business, mindset, and entrepreneurship. And today I've got a very special guest on the episode. His name is Cole De Silva. He's an entrepreneur. He's a business coach. He's a father. He's a husband. He's a business leader. And this is someone that over the last decade has gone from being broke and on drugs to creating a multi-million-dollar fitness empire. And so in today's episode, we cover everything from his story to mindset, some of the stuff that he does to kind of, elevate himself to really win the day. We talk about social media. This is a guy that's gone from a few thousand followers to over 1 million followers across all platforms in the last 2 or 3 years. So we go through some of his tactics and tools. And we also talk about what's next for Cole. So if you like the episode, click the like button, subscribe to the podcast, and enjoy the show. So Cole, welcome to the Industry Leaders Podcast. How are you today, brother?
Amazing, dude. Can't complain. I definitely can't complain. The kid's been screaming all day, but it's been all right.
I'm feeling it. My little girl at the moment, which you've met, she's going through this phase where she thinks she's like a young Pavarotti, right? She's doing this high-pitched wheeling sound. It's like it's the frequency just like smashes my eardrums, man. It's fucked up.
I think Cade's actually getting his first couple teeth. We think that might be happening. So like today he is super grumpy, bro. So he's just been whining the whole time. It was even funny, like earlier, I was like, what's your problem? And Julia just like looked at me. She's like, shut up, because you haven't been dealing with them all day. I'm like, okay, I'll back off.
We get it easy compared to our women, mate. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But look, I want to get into it today. Like for those that aren't familiar with you, your story, your background, like give us a bit of a short overview on, where you're from and how you've gotten to where you are today.
Yeah. So I'll try to keep this short and straight to the point. So my name is Cole De Silva. I am a 29-year-old entrepreneur. I run a business called PT Domination with my business partner, my best friend, Brian Mark. We're actually partnered with the beautiful Clean Health team. All right. Not so much Dane, but still. So when it comes down to my story, it's summed up in a transformation story of when I was a kid. I grew up in a little bit of a harder home. Myself and my family didn't get along very well. So I moved to a new city because I wanted to change my life, get away from the drugs and alcohol. Ended up trickling down a very dark path after becoming an iron worker. Got addicted to Percocets. On a high day, I would eat 7+ a day, sniffing them, chewing them, eating them regularly while working 10 to 12 hours outside as an iron worker. And I did that for a long time until I found fitness. Fitness was kind of like the push over the edge for me to actually transform my life, kind of take control of what was going on, because I felt so lost, screwed my finances up, had no friends, had no direction, but I knew I could control what I put in my mouth. So I got into fitness. Actually, surprisingly, it was funny. I actually hired Brian, who's now my best friend, my business partner, to be my first fitness coach. He forced me into fitness competing, which just challenged me to embrace a different mindset. We won 3 shows, first in overalls in every single show, got into business together after I won my second show. And then that was it. Ever since, we've just been grinding, building the companies that we built.
And how have you found the transition? Obviously, and I mentioned it at the beginning of the intro when I introed you, like you've gone from that background to where you've gone to being a personal trainer, an online fitness coach. Now, fast forward, you've got, arguably the world's leading, well, in our opinion anyway, leading online fitness business coaching program. You've also got a clothing line. You do, you've got lots of different kind of things that you're doing from an entrepreneurial standpoint. How have you found that transition from being, like addict to trainer to businessman?
Honestly, it's kind of weird because individuals will ask me the question all the time, like, what was the hardest thing that you went through? Somebody asked me that today, and it wasn't even like overcoming my addiction that I explained. I actually explained that it was the first to second month of me having my kid and having to like go through that transformation, because whenever I explain my addiction to people, I like to stress heavily that like I didn't have it like a cokehead or like a heroin addict. For me, I utilize it as like an internal mental escape. So when I decided I was done, I quit cold turkey. I dumped all my pills down the toilet, even though I was taking 7+ a day on the high days. And I just went through the pill sickness, went through the pain, and then just my whole mindset shifted towards something else. And that's kind of how my life has been the entire time. So the shift was, I don't want to say easy because I feel like that would be ignorant to a lot of individuals, but it was kind of fluid. I've been like that since I was a kid. I pick something and I'm like, okay, this is what I do now. So when I went from an addict to starting to pursue personal training, I ended up getting a job in a camp. So I quit my ironworking job, went and worked in a camp. After 3 months of working in the camp and visually seeing my friend Brian work online,
I'm just picturing you working in a camp.
bro, it was horrible, man. So we're like up north in a massive camp called Surmont. Like Surmont, there was like tens of thousands of people there, and I was just in the gym all day waiting for you to come in. And then I'd run. I think I ran like 8 group classes a day, dude. Like group training, one-on-one. Crazy amount of classes in 3 months. But I was visually seeing Brian work online. So after 3 months, I'm like, fuck this. So I was like, I'm out. I'm like, I'm done. So I quit with one client. Within 2 months, I made 10K online. And then like I've just always been an all in person. Like I pick a direction and I just go like super hard. I kind of attribute a lot of my success to my addiction, because that same mentality of like, yo, I don't have pills, I'm going to figure it out and find my pills. I'm the same way with everything that I do in business.
Yeah. Look, I can relate to that. I mean, how you do one thing is how you do anything, right? So you did addiction well. You've done competing well. You've done business well. I can relate. Like, you and I have just, seeing you in action when you're over here, some of those OCD tendencies, like I've got that too. Like I welcome that. I embrace that. I love that part about myself, because I had someone say to me recently, they're like, you're a real manic motherfucker, Dane, but you're targeted.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, and I think it's like having focused chaos.
I agree. 100%. Like, dude, my life is insane every day from 3 a.m. all the way till 8 to 9 p.m. because, well, obviously, with kids, now that I have Cade, I'm like, there's no days off. I was having a conversation with someone, and my mentality's been all in, always. That's literally how I've operated from the very beginning. Now that I have baby boy, like now it's all in for the next 18 years plus with no missing. Because now when I'm done my business, like now I got to be with him. Now I got to focus on the family. Like there's no more missing anymore. And I think it's forced me to evolve so much over the last 7 months that I've just become even greater than I was in the past in such a short amount of time.
I could definitely relate to that as a dad, and we'll get to that. But you touched base on one thing there that I just made a note on: mentality. I love that fucking word, and I love the topic of mentality. Explain to me your mentality, because I think that's something that you're really quite well known for with a lot of the stuff that you put out. Like people use the term motivation. I don't like that term, motivation, personally, but I do understand why we use it. But talk to me about mentality and your kind of take on motivation.
Yeah, dude, 100%. Well, first off, I have in my bio, obviously, if you look, it says motivational speaker. Now, the reason why I put motivational speaker in there is because people understand what that means.
Yeah.
Where if you were to pick another word and put it in front of speaker, a lot of people wouldn't understand it. They wouldn't resonate with it. They wouldn't actually absorb your content. But I'm the same way, dude. Like at the end of the day, fuck motivation. I'm not motivated to do anything. Yeah. I literally woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning and didn't want to do half the work that I had to do, but I did it anyways because I'm disciplined, I'm focused, I'm driven. I like to utilize a term called Amarok mentality. Now, my brand, like the clothing brand that I'm wearing right now, my old fitness coaching company.
Where's my jumper, man? Send me one.
No, I'm going to send it. It's going to take a billion years. We're going to send it.
Got a triple XL for this big motherfucker.
Bro, we got a double XL for you. We got the double XL. That's right. If you don't fit in that, then we're fucked. Okay. But when it came down to the Amarok mentality, I was thinking about a brand around wolves because I've always loved the mentality of wolves, the attitude of them. They'll run literally 30, 40 plus miles for their food for one bite to drag it back to their family. Like that is just so cool to me. And I'm like obsessed with animals. Julia would always come back from work when I was working as an iron worker and transitioning to online. And she would just hear like African safari documentaries while I'm working on the computer. Cause I'm obsessed with the attitudes of animals, like the predatory and the prey, etc. Well, when I was creating my business, I was going to call it something with wolves. And my friend called me and they're like, no, call it Amarok, whatever. And I'm like, well, what is that? Well, an Amarok, A-M-A-R-O-K, is a wolf in Inuit mythology known to be the most fierce and gigantic wolf out there. And it is so terrifying that it doesn't need a pack to hunt with. It hunts alone. All right. It's not afraid to stand alone and hold its ground and everything. So I've just embraced that mentality with all of it. Like at the end of the day, I grew up in a good house in the aspect of we did have love, but I also grew up in a bad house where we had a lot of fucking violence and anger and frustration. And there's a lot of shit that happened when I was a kid. And I reached a point through transitioning from kid to teenager to adult where if I kept playing victim, and kept complaining about my past, I would have never achieved anything. And I honestly don't think I would have lived past the age of 25, which is something that I used to say. So I just reached a point where I was like, I got to embrace a different mentality in the aspect of like, no one's going to fucking do this for me. Yeah. Right. No one's going to help me. No one actually cares about me. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that like everybody is selfish.
But at the end of the day, you're right. No, like people do, but like ultimately it's just you, brother, when you lied, like it's just you.
Yes. And people don't understand that. Like people hear that term and they're like, well, that's kind of fucked up. Like, what do you mean nobody cares about you? Your wife cares about you. Your kids care about you. Your friends care about you. Yeah. Okay, cool. But like, let's be real. If there's only one fucking piece of food left on the entire planet, and everybody's sitting there and everybody kicks into their animalistic ways, they're all going to go for that food first because everybody is selfish in nature. And I don't think that's a bad thing. All right. And embracing that mentality has helped me build this life for myself, give this beautiful life to my wife, be able to make sure that my son never understands what it's like to struggle. I think having a bulletproof mentality in the aspect of nothing can phase my mind ever is necessary if you want to achieve true growth.
And I think in particular as men, like, you know, and I've learned it as well along the way, like the resilience builds strong men.
Yes, dude.
Right. Like if you don't go through resilience, and this goes for men and women, but in particular as men, you know, men intrinsically, you know, are wired to go out and capture the meat.
Yes.
Right? To be the pack leader, to go and hunt. Right. It doesn't make them any better or worse, like, you know, far out. Like I even look in the dynamic of my relationship, and I'm sure with yours, like my wife is far better at me at a lot of things that I could never match her level on.
Agreed.
But then conversely, there's other areas that I have that as well. And I think it's about like as men, like not shying away from resilience or from trauma, but actually fucking jumping into it and going through it as almost a rite of passage.
I agree.
Has helped me level up and learn, evolve and grow, not just as a man, but as a father, as a business leader, as an entrepreneur.
Dude, without discomfort, you can never grow into the individual you wanted to become. And I'm like, I wear that shit like a badge of honor. Everything that I went through as a kid, and I've been very expressive about it to the degree where like my family hasn't even liked me sharing a lot of the things, regardless of me being.
Because they feel embarrassed, ashamed, and
I get it because it's hard and you can't rewrite the fucking past. And a lot of people like to just bury it. But I wear that shit like a badge of honor. Like the stuff that I went through as a kid turned me into this man. And this man retired my wife before she turned 30. This man made a kid be able to have whatever the fuck he wants, no matter what is going on, period, for the rest of his life. Like I wear that stuff where a lot of people end up shying away from it. Even the breakdown where you just said, I think men are a little bit more resilient and like we're always better at different things. I've even had conversations with people in the past on podcasts talking about gender roles. And I think that there are gender roles in the aspect of like, my wife is a way better nurturer than me when it comes down to our kid.
Oh yeah.
But she also spent 9 months with him in her belly. I would assume that they're closer already. Right. Like it's just, there's different things. And I feel like it's okay.
Kids don't need men like realistically, like there's need and want, but kids don't need men until they kind of get 8, 9, 10.
Agreed.
Like they want them, but they don't need them,
no.
You know, for a variety of reasons. But talk to me then, like, you know, we've spoken about the mentality and your approach, but like, what does Cole De Silva do, like kind of every day to set himself up to win, you know, to gain momentum? You know, I know a little bit about your routine, but for people that don't know, like talk to me about your infamous morning routine, brother.
Hell yeah. Well, for all you betas out there, no, I'm just joking. Right away. So guys, it's a little inside joke. So just like Dane, I do an ice bath every day or a cold shower if I'm cleaning my ice bath because I have a barrel. I don't have a cool Odin thing like Dane does. I'm currently working on getting one of those. But mine is very simple. Okay. Now my morning routine was formed around my lifestyle. I used to wake up around 4:30 a.m. Then we had Cade, and I realized that if I wake up at 4:30 a.m., then I'm going to be getting home when Cade's already awake, and it's just going to be a hectic household. And I wanted to be home before he woke up so I could like kind of converse with him and Julia and be able to like build a little bit of a relationship before I went to work. Went down to my office, let's be real. So I wake up at 3 a.m. every day. All right. As soon as I wake up, I go straight into a cold shower for around 3 to 5 minutes. Now, the reason why I do a cold shower before I work out and as soon as I wake up is because number one, it helps me wake up for the day. Number two, it helps with my forearms. Now, little backstory. I got addicted to Percocets when I was an iron worker because I developed carpal tunnel and tendonitis is what the doctors are saying in my forearms. Okay. So I used to wake up and my hands were like chicken feet, bro. I couldn't open my fingers at 22 years old. I could not move my hands anymore.
Oh, wow.
So the cold exposure actually helps me. I can move my body again. So 3 a.m. wake up right away into a cold shower for around 3 to 5 minutes. Then I do 5 minutes of affirmation journaling, 5 minutes of gratitude journaling, and then 5 minutes of meditation, just to get my mind right. And I also think it is very important for me specifically to appreciate what I already have in order for me to look at achieving more. Because if I don't, I find myself getting negative, all right, due to different things. So I just combat that mindset. I understand how my mindset works. And I feel like it's very easy to get negative nowadays. So I combat it instantly with perspective and everything else. Well, affirmations, gratitudes, meditation right away.
Let's get controversial here, brother. And I know you fucking like where I'm going with this. There's some entrepreneurs and people out there that are like, you don't need a routine. You don't need, balance and stuff like that. Now, I'm open to hearing everyone's viewpoint. We're all human beings under the power of free will. We can have our own fucking viewpoints.
Yeah.
But why do you disagree with that?
So there's some people that, I'm sure you don't need a morning routine, but I also just think it's a very ignorant thing to say in the aspect of we all have a routine fucking period. We just operate at different frequencies, meaning even the entrepreneurs in the world who say, I don't have a routine, fuck you. Yes, you do. You probably wake up, you go get your coffee, you drink a liter of water, then you get straight into work. That is a routine. Something that you do every single day is a routine. And what works for you probably isn't going to work for other people, especially because there are a lot of people with their heads screwed on right. And there's a lot of fucking people on this planet with their heads screwed on wrong, meaning they wake up and they instantly go into negativity. They start surfing their phone. They're spending time on TikTok. They're fighting with their wife every single day. So it's hard for them to get into the entrepreneurial mode because they've been programmed to be a fucking employee since they were 3 years old in SK.
Like, well, not just that, like there's even, if you want to go deeper, there's the biochemical genetic, epigenetic, all that type of stuff that can relate to that too. Some people are more prone to anxiety. Some people are more prone to depression, so I definitely hear you on that, like the raising the frequency pretty much to start the day. That's kind of where, like, for me, I've noticed I can start my day without a morning routine if I choose to.
Same.
And I'm still going to have an effective day, but it's not at the same level.
It's not, dude. And that's the whole thing.
It's not at the same level. I'm very aware when I've gone from to basically, set myself up with whatever that routine is, that day will be a 12 out of 10. Without that, it might get to a 9 or 10, but it just, from my experience, that it's like plugging into a battery.
Yeah, 100%. I also think, and this is where my morning routine came into play, because it's 3 a.m., cold shower, affirmations, gratitude, meditation. On the drive to the gym, I listen to a 15-minute motivational video, like success motivation. I do a workout for an hour and 10 to 15 minutes. Then I do 15 minutes of steady state cardio where I do my content creation. Then I come home and I do a cold plunge for around 3 to 5 minutes. Now, I do that every fucking day. The reason why is because that's my me time. So I can be Cole. I don't have to be dad. I don't have to be husband. I don't have to be mentor, motivator, coach, etc. I get to just be Cole. But also, just like you said, it raises my frequency. So when I have to be dad, you get the best fucking version of me. When I have to be husband, you get the best fucking version of me. I believe in showing up as your best self at all times. And I despise individuals who play victim in the aspect of like, well, I'm having a bad day, so I didn't show up presently for my kid, my partner, my jobs, my calls, and more. I don't believe in that. I believe in showing up as the best version, period. And that's why I do that on social media, when I'm doing podcasts like this. And I make sure that I put myself in that state by working on my mind. I think it's necessary.
Well, honestly, it's you and I are very much aligned in that respect. Like, it's the mindset, the mentality is arguably the biggest thing that I work on every day.
Same.
And I found the more that I've focused on that, even something I've started recently is I've started not touching my phone for the first 75 to 90 minutes of being awake.
Dude, same. I don't touch it at all.
And I've just found, for me, it's just given me a different level of clarity. I've actually started training when I train in the morning first thing with no music on. Now, for me, I've found the no music on, it's almost like I don't have music to distract my thoughts. So I've just found doing it for me, again, to your point, it's whatever kind of works for you. But for me, it's giving me more clarity on the day. I was reading one of the autobiographies of Henry Ford, the founder of the Ford Company, right?
Yeah.
And you talk about some entrepreneurs talk about, not necessarily needing a morning routine. Well, actually, when you look into him, one of the things that he used to do was he had a tree on his property. He would go out and just sit by his tree in silence.
Yeah.
Now, he wasn't sitting there going home and meditating. This is one of the the forefathers of the financial game in the United States, one of the OG billionaires, right? But he was literally getting solitude. Jackson from he talks about too, is just solitude time for him. That was his routine.
Yes, dude. And that's the thing. It's like, that's why I always say do what works for you, because I honestly think it's a very ignorant fucking statement nowadays to say that morning routines do not work due to the fact that entrepreneurship has become like a glorified thing. Let's be real. That's why I got into it. I didn't know what entrepreneurship was. I was a fucking employee. I was literally dying. I thought I was like lost in life, never being able to do anything. And I got introduced to it. I was like, this lifestyle looks amazing. I have a burning passion to help people. Now I have a path. This is cool as hell. But it's with entrepreneurship being glorified as it is, like, I think more of these big ups that are now, let's be real, multi-fucking millionaires or almost billionaires, like being like, I don't need a morning routine. Well, yeah, no shit, homie. You're making $300,000 a day. All right. You're making $2 million a month. Like, you don't need a morning routine. Your shit's already set up. What did you do at the beginning, though? When you were struggling, when you were what did you do at the very start?
Very. I think that's sometimes what people forget. It's they talk from the context of now and aren't able to take themselves out of the present and put themselves into the shoes of someone that is much either further ahead or further down the line. I was had this chat yesterday. I had a lunch the other week. I was sitting down with a billionaire and another person worth in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah. And the billionaire, he was talking about stuff. And I was just like, look, can I just stop you for a sec? I'm like, I love what you're talking about, but it's like, because he was talking about, helping the next generation of entrepreneurs. But I'm like, you're going to have to break that shit down, man. Yeah. Because I'm like, you're talking in the matrix shit. And I'm like, I'm trying to keep up and I'm not fucking dumb. So it was like, even for him, he'd obviously at some point been in our shoes, been 6 figures, 7 figures. This guy's 60 years old, but it was to take himself back, and he's like, oh yeah, like now I've got to maybe look at ways I can simplify that and play to my strengths and stuff like that too. So I agree, it's different for everyone.
Well, dude, and that entire mindset, kind of going back to the mentality while also having this conversation, it's one of the reasons why I've been able to see success in social media and in our business and everything else, because when it comes down to mentality, I have a mentality that I am good, but I am also a fucking nobody in every room. In the aspect of like, I will walk into any room, and you probably saw it when we were at the Clean Health Live, even though I'm there to serve, I literally think I'm the bottom of the barrel as soon as I walk in. And it's not because I don't have confidence in myself. It's because I want to learn.
Apprentice mindset.
I absorb and I observe every single time, because like, as soon as you start to feel like you can't learn from anybody, you're just screwed across the board. So I have a mentality that I am a nobody. I want to absorb all the information.
I'll give you an example of that right now. And we'll kind of touch base with you guys. Like, for a lot of the listeners who've been, I'm doing this podcast now. You've been seeing me put out all this content. The motherfuckers that inspired me to do this, one of the two is sitting here right now that I'm chatting with, and, I've been an entrepreneur now for 2 decades, right? Before it was even a fancy thing to do, as a 41-year-old. And I'm like, I've seen what you guys are doing, and it's like, it's inspired me to level up and kind of, change my game, which, to be honest, I'm super grateful for, because
You're killing it.
Yeah, no, thank you. But on that point, like, if I'm using myself as a case study, like, for anyone out there right now, whether it's a trainer, an accountant, or any kind of business owner, entrepreneur that's not online and it's a bit scared or hesitant, what would be your piece of advice? Obviously, as someone that's kind of in the last few years gone from having a very small following to 1 million plus following across social.
Take messy action, all right, and be authentic. Now, what do I mean by that? Because obviously you're probably going to hear that and you're like, well, what the fuck is this kid talking about? So let's say you want to start creating content online so you can take your business from in-person online. First off, take messy action. Stop thinking you need a professional camera. Stop trying to hire all these editors and create content like all these fancy people. Guys, go to my page right now. All right, Cole Lewis da Silva, LuisDasilva. It is the most simple content you will see. It's me in front of a camera speaking my opinion. That is literally it. You don't see any flashy shit or pop-ups or sound effects. It's me just speaking into the fucking camera. Why? Because nobody cares about the sound effects. They care about the actual message. So take messy action, pick up your phone and start talking. I built my Instagram to 86,000. I think it was 86 to 90,000 followers, and my TikTok to 250 to 300K with just my iPhone. Never shooting with one camera. Only me, Julia fucking filming me, my wife, either at home or in our car. We had a series called Drives with the Wolf, and I would literally just drive my car, look at the camera, and yell of my opinion. So that was literally it. And it blew up because people heard my authentic message, which rolls into point number 2, be authentic. The biggest thing, and I'm talking about the biggest thing missing in the fitness industry right now is authenticity. People sharing their true opinions, being themselves. Everybody wants to be fucking professional. And this is why, like, coming down to the I'm a nobody thing, I don't try to sound professional in any setting, just like you guys are probably hearing now. I'm speaking to you like I'm speaking to a friend sitting right beside me. Because that's what I believe.
Meeting yesterday.
Well, that's yeah, dude. I'm like, I swear, I fuck around. I don't give a shit. Like, this is me. Like, this is how it is. I'm like, I'm not going to try to sound like a scientist or a multi-billionaire who needs to wear a suit and go into the business meeting and act professional or he's going to lose a deal. This is me. Take it or leave it. A lot of you guys act like the billionaire in the meeting or a scientist or whatever because you feel like if you don't, you're going to get called out by other PTs. But that's not your market. Also, understanding the market is important in the aspect of, in the United States right now, the average reading level is grade 7, meaning none of them know what the fuck you're talking about when you start reading your textbook. So why are you?
Well, and the attention span's under 10 seconds too.
Bro, that's why you just got to get to the point.
Yeah, you can't be speaking fucking algebra. What about, and I know you touched base on this, on the upcoming course that you and Brian have put out, the Social Media Mastery course that we're running through Clean Health, which, like, again, super inspired me. But, like, for people that aren't necessarily, I'm not comfortable getting in front of a camera, like, you weren't always the presenter that you are now. So how did you overcome that? Because I think that's one of the biggest things, like, I'm not comfortable. I don't want to get on. Obviously, yes, there are excuses. They're limiting themselves. Push that to the side. What would be some practical tools that you would give that person that was once you?
So actually, first off, I just wanted to touch on that. I honestly don't usually see those as excuses. That's just the true authentic word coming through. It's why a lot of you guys don't ever step foot in front of a camera. But you got to be yourself. All right. And what I mean by that is right now, let's say you don't have any courage to get in front of a camera and deliver an actual talking video or create content like me or Dane or Brian, etc. Do what you can, lean into it. Meaning, let's say you just want to write copy, post a photo of yourself. Do that. Okay. Let's say you just want to film yourself working out. Do that. Let's say you just want to film your meal before you eat it. Do that. That's why I said take messy action. I don't care what you post, just post, because unless you post, you're irrelevant nowadays. So put something out there and then slowly start wading into the pool. All right. And what I mean by that is, let's say you're extremely insecure talking on camera. Start with Instagram stories. Why? Because you could delete them if you really are in your head and they only last 24 hours. So it's on and gone, on and gone. That is the best place to practice you actually speaking online. After that, I would do live streams. Now, the reason why I say live streams over content is because live streams start to force you into growth. They also can be deleted right afterwards, or you could just stop it as you're going. Funny story, guys, again, when I first started, Brian and myself were running a fitness business called Aesthetic Nation. Now, we were highly hated in Calgary. Why? Because we were the loudest, we were also the most successful, and we were running a team. It wasn't one trainer. It was 6 of us running an entire team, taking over the entire city. People didn't like seeing that. They didn't enjoy it. They also didn't understand online training in general, because other than us doing it, there wasn't really anybody around us doing it at all. So it was very unheard of. Well, Brian saw my authentic voice long before I became a PT on his team. So we had rules in place of what we could create online. So I wasn't allowed to be this guy. All right. And when I first started, I was just, okay, what do I do, coach? What do I do? Right. So
who am I today?
the only thing I knew what to do, right, was create content like him. So I would go live trying to talk like a quote unquote professional, not swearing, not being authentic. And it was very hard for me. I would go live and literally he would watch me on the street. I'd go live, speak for 3 seconds, stop the live, delete it. Go live, speak for like a minute, stop, delete it. I would do that like 7-8 times in a row. Take messy action. Nobody remembers that shit.
Yeah, the messy action, but the authenticity. Like I can attest that. Like I've, with our business now, we've got, different partners. Like we have some partners that are $1 billion brands, some that are 7-figure brands. And so obviously when I'm engaging and communicating in the 9-figure or 10-figure world, like you're dealing with some corporate heavy hitters, lots of infrastructure, suits and boots. And I've learned just to be myself.
Yes.
So like the person I am right now in my fucking training gear, my rings, my, Buddha fucking beads, like that's just me. And if I swear and I offend you, then you're not the right partner for me.
Say that again.
If I swear and offend you, you're not the right partner for me.
Yes, dude. Because like, let's be real. Okay. Let's say you start posting online, creating online, and you put on a persona. You don't swear. You try to speak like you're talking out of a textbook. You're acting like an individual that you currently aren't. Well, let's say you build a massive following. Eventually, you're going to burn that following to the ground because you don't actually enjoy it. You don't actually do it. There's a song that actually I think you should listen to, Dane, because at the very beginning of this, you'll pick up exactly what I'm breaking down. But it's called Alone by Black. All right. The artist is Black, but the B is a 6. Okay. So it's 6 LACK. The song is Alone. The reason why I want you guys to listen to this is because at the very beginning of the song, he talks about how he will not conform to what the industry standards are, creating a song that is just meant to pop off once. Because he's like, if I do that and the song pops off, then I'm going to become a song and not an artist. This is what a lot of people do. They conform to what the trends are. They conform to what they think they should be doing because that's what everyone else is doing. It blows up. And then they're like, yo, I don't like doing content. I hate it. Where I have built a 1.3 million followers, social media following across multiple platforms without doing one trend. All right. Without using trending audios, my voice, because I believe in being me. And if you don't like me, there's the fucking door.
Ta-da.
Right?
Exactly. Well, you've touched, we kind of just spoke then about people that are wanting to get into social. Let's kind of change the trajectory a little bit now to people that are kind of, and this is probably me being a little bit selfish because it's going to give me some ideas of my own social. But no, but honestly, like there's a lot of people that say might be between 5 to 10,000 followers, right? They've been on social for years. They've got some followers there, maybe not engaged account. They've started posting on it or they are posting on consistently, but they're just not getting maybe massive growth, right? They're not going viral. They're not getting that. Like for someone like that, that's posting consistently, has been doing it a while, but not getting the growth. Like other than obviously keeping at it, what are some other kind of, strategies or tactics that you've found have worked to kind of help yourself and or some of the students that you guys mentor bust through plateaus? Because surely just like a training plan, someone, they can't get an extra inch on their arms. You give them the training plan, they progress. What would you do in that situation?
So, you putting the training plan analogy in there actually works really well because I've got a couple different points. So everybody, if you're listening, keep up. All right. Yeah. First off, you saying other than keeping at it, what is your advice? Well, I rarely tell people to keep at it unless I audit your account and I know you're doing the right thing. Now, how do you know you're doing the right thing? Well, first off, you got to do self-audit. Guys, I self-audit my content every Sunday, meaning I go into my analytics and I'm like, okay, what performed the best and what shit the bed? And I was like, okay, these all didn't do well. Why? Did I not get to the point quick enough? Was I not looking at the camera? Because that matters. Was the video too long? Was the video too short? What audios did I utilize? Did the audio complement my voice? Because I don't use trending audios. I download audios and put them on my sounds because I want to be the trending audio. I don't want to use someone else's trending audio. That's how my mindset works always. Like I want Dane to download my video and then do a video with me in the background. That's how my mindset is. So I do a self-audit every Sunday. Now, if I know my niche, let's say my niche is stay-at-home moms that need to lose 50 pounds that are really struggling with their life, just going to throw a random niche out there. If I know my niche down to the degree that I know that every time that mom walks by the mirror, she has to cover the mirror with a blanket because she's scared to look at herself, which by the way, I've coached a client like that. And I'm speaking directly to that in my content in a very polarizing, deep emotional way. And I'm auditing on a consistent basis. That's when I would say stick it out. Because when you're training your arms, let's say you're doing everything correctly, they're not growing, homie, you can't rush it. You got to stick it the fuck out.
Yeah.
Right. But let's say right now you're listening to this, you have 10,000 followers and you don't even know your niche is fucking pain. That's a whole different conversation. We're going down like a completely different map now. So my first initial tell for you guys would be to go audit who you're talking to. You say you help men lose weight. That is the most generic fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Do you help divorced men, married men, fathers, non-fathers, blue workers, white collar workers, office workers? Like, we're talking about 8 billion people on this planet. You cannot just say men. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because
that just made me kind of think about, like, for example, Don Lamb, who 6,000 followers, but obviously his messaging is so targeted to that niche where, and for you guys listening, that's one of Cole's clients, who earns several $100,000 a month as an online fitness coach. Yeah, didn't start in that place, that's for sure. But I'm assuming his approach, his message is so targeted that he's extracting such a large percentage of value from a small audience.
So with Don, like, he's one of those special cases. I'm going to give you guys 2 examples right now. So Don is one of those special cases in the aspect of he actually doesn't post on social media that much. But what he did is when he was an in-person trainer like you, Dane, he built up such a strong foundation in his town, Kamloops, British Columbia, that everybody started to know his name. So then when he went online, he was like, oh, this is easy, dude. He's like, now I just got to take the exact thing I said in person, put it online. And he started to pull a bunch of clients. Then he's like, you know what? How do I expand? Well, I need coaches. So when he brings a coach on, he audits their content, audits their niche, audits their message, and then makes them get incredibly direct with exactly who they're talking to. So every coach out of the 9 on his team, when you go to their content and you read it, if you're a mom looking to lose 50 pounds and you read one of the posts from one of his female coaches, it'll make you cry. Because it is that much emotional based. Because let's be real, nobody gives a shit about your program. They care about the emotion. They don't care about the process, just like you don't care how the oil gets changed in your car. You just want it changed. I can't even tell you how many people have asked that question before.
I tell people that in sales, like sell the dream, the outcome, not the fucking the journey. Like, they don't give a fuck. They don't care.
I think it's for content. Because when it comes to content, you'll see individuals explain their program or the breakdown on how progressive overload works or caloric deficits or caloric surpluses. And I'm like, guys, nobody gives a fuck about this. You know why? Because 99% of the population, I always use the analogy, don't even understand how people actually change their oil. Because you don't care about the oil. You just care about it being changed so you could drive your car again. That's literally all they care about. Our other breakdown that I wanted to give you another perspective, is Janelle. So our coach Janelle is a fucking powerhouse. She's one of my sisters, even though she could literally be my mom. She's 42 years old. So Janelle has lost over 500 pounds. She currently weighs around 430. Her peak weight was over 700. Now her story is drastic. She was in her car, just finished up grocery shopping with her kid, pulls the kid out of the vehicle, puts the kid on the ground, goes to grab the groceries, turns around, and her kid is booking it towards the highway. All right. She freaks out, drops the groceries, goes to start running, but at 700 plus pounds, trips, hits the ground and can't stand back up. So she's watching her child, I got goosebumps right now, sprinting towards the highway while a transport's coming. And just as the kid's about to go on the highway, I swear this is not a bullshit story, by the way. You can find her, Janelle Wheel, on Instagram. Just as about her kid's about to go on the highway, her dog saves the kid. And she has a breakdown moment of, I just gave up on my child. This will never happen again. Went on a transformation journey, lost over 500 fucking pounds. So when she speaks to that online about, yo, fuck body positivity. All right. It's not okay to be obese. Your family needs you. Those other overweight women flock. And that's why she has 6,000 clients, bro. 6,000 as an online trainer, because her content is so intense. When you listen to her speak, like, she's a walking example of what the fuck it means to actually overcome all that stuff. Wow,
that's pretty fucking heavy, man.
It is.
That's pretty heavy. So kind of 2 key things I took from that is, one, the self-auditing process.
Yep.
And in particular, as part of that kind of step there with step 2 is really getting clear and dialed in on your niche, and then how you can communicate to resonate and connect. And you made a good point even just then with the I help men, what type, like there's 50,000 different types. I think one thing I took away from that is just the razor sharp clarity, getting in on your niche and how much of an impact that can have on just getting an engaged following.
Dude, it changes the whole game, because even people who are like, I help moms. You see that niche all the time. I help moms. Well, what kind of mom? The stay-at-home mom? The mom who still works a job? The mom that is a brand new mom? The mom that's been a mom for 18 years? Those are drastically different fucking people, and meaning their pain is going to be different. So if you can't write to the specific pain of the person, it's no wonder your content isn't hitting, because it just looks generic like every other individual on the internet.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Right?
Well, let's change that. And obviously, we've spoken a little bit about mindset, how you set yourself up to win. We've also spoken about kind of some tactics and tools and stuff for, people on social media. Let's kind of flip to where you're at now with your actual kind of core business with PT Domination. Talk to those out there listening right now. Obviously, Clean Health and PT Domination have a partnership. It was a match made in fucking heaven. I'm super grateful for it, and just the system and the feedback and the loop that we've created with that. But talk to us about like what PT Domination does and how it's impacting the industry right now.
I love it. So PT Domination is a company where we help personal trainers, fitness coaches, online fitness coaches grow and scale their online businesses. Brian and myself both worked as in-person PTs. He worked as an in-person PT for a little while. I only did it for 3 months and was like, I hate this shit. Looked at the potential online and went online.
I did it for 15 fucking years.
Yeah, bro, I can't. I had 3 months and I was like, yo, I'm out, dog. I do not like getting bossed around. So we help PTs grow and scale their online businesses utilizing organic social media. So every single story that we've had, every client testimonial where an individual has made anywhere from 10K, which by the way, we've helped 300 students break 10K a month organically online, or over 100,000, which we've had 13 students break 100,000 organically online. It is all organic. Reason why is because we both tried the ads. We tried the ads when we were first starting, and I actually had 3 ad accounts banned after wasting thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, over 5 figures, trying to figure it out, multiple 5 figures actually. And I just reached a point where I was like, organic is the way to go. So our entire goal is to help 5,000 personal trainers worldwide. That's by the end of this year, which we actually will achieve. We wrote it down just to give you a little example. It's right here. All right. And it says 5,000 students enrolled. Now, when me and Brian wrote this vision 3 years ago, we actually weren't specific. We said 5,000 students enrolled. We didn't put enrolled actively. And by the end of this year, we technically would have helped 5,000 students because we've already helped over 4,000.
You weren't specific enough on your niche, brother.
How crazy is that, eh? Like how the world.
I've done stuff like that all the time where it's like I set a target, it's like, oh, I want to do X amount in revenue or whatnot. But then I was like, I forgot to put in the margin.
Yeah. And then you're like, I did it, but I didn't do exactly what was going on. So
I got the revenue with the random margin. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we specialize in helping PTs grow and scale online. We currently have 1,400 active students. We have 3 different levels, 4 different levels if you include VIP. And we are the industry standard on helping individuals grow and scale to the next level, because our goal is to help you achieve financial freedom and to impact the world. Because let's be real, we all got into personal training and fitness because we wanted to help people. That was the baseline goal. Now, fitness coaching, you can only help so much. All right. Unless you build a very hands-off program that still gets results like Janelle was able to do. Fucking amazing. She's killing it with hers. But it's hard to help thousands and thousands of people. So we looked at it, zoomed out. As business coaches now, if I'm able to help one fitness coach get 100 clients, then I'm indirectly helping 101 people.
100%.
And that is my goal now. With 1,400 students, the average client base that they have is 30. I can't even do quick math like that. Again, I'm not a scientist or a mathematician, so I'm not going to pretend to be, but my goal is to ripple effect, change the world. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, that's what 28, 36 to 40,000 people getting impacted right now from your program.
And that's one-to-one, not even families exactly. Of people there. So that's the ripple effect, dude.
And look, I mean, obviously not just saying it to blow smoke up your rear end, but I mean, it's one of the reasons why, we were so happy to kind of connect with you guys and partner, because I think what we'd found at Clean Health, our background helping trainers it's one thing that really kind of hit home from Brian discussing with him is the skill of personal training and then the skill of attracting clients, in particular for online fitness coaches. And it's like, you can be the best coach, but if you don't have a content game, if you can't talk to camera, if you can't articulate that direct into the point, covering off some of the points that we've discovered, you're not going to be able to attract the right type of client into your ecosystem to be able to convert them. So I think for us, partnering with you guys has been kind of that missing element of success for our students. And we're already seeing it from the students from the Clean Health ecosystem that are coming across into PT Domination, taking that leap, even if they're going into the social media mastery course or the Change Lives Academy, they're earning more money and monetizing their passion. And, I think some trainers and trainers in general society sometimes get a bit scared of money. It's like it's a dirty thing. Ooh, they feel uncomfortable with earning money. It's like, motherfuckers, the more income you earn, the more you can help.
Dude, I literally have it on my vision board that in the next 25 years, I want to become a billionaire. Do I have any idea how that's going to happen? Fuck no. But I want it to happen. Why? Because as of right now, and I don't even document a lot of it, because even though I will document some of giving back because I think it's necessary, a lot of people don't like documentation of giving back because they just want to pretend that people don't need help in the fucking world. But I don't document all of it, and I give back a lot, dude, because I know what it was like to not have anything. I know what it was like to struggle. I know what it was like to just need that helping hand. And if I'm a fucking billionaire, that means I can help a fuckload of people. I could start buying houses for people, start homeless shelters, give back millions for no fucking reason. I think this world has an abundance of money that could serve and change so many lives, but so many people who get money are scared to talk about it due to how aggressively frustrated and small-minded so many people are. And also there's a lot of people that won't even chase money because they are too humble to even think that they can attack that life or start to attack that life. I think it's just this weird mindset, dude. I want to be rich as fuck. I'm not scared of saying it. Yeah, I came from nothing.
100%. And I think that's to that point, 2 days ago, I had someone that I know a message saying, hey, there's a cause that we're raising for multiple sclerosis. We appreciate donation. I went on and I donated, yes, and I can do that comfortably because I have the means and capabilities to do that. 10, 15 years ago, I didn't. So I don't even it was just an acquaintance I knew and I donated to some random person I don't even know for a worthwhile cause. And all of a sudden I'm getting a message back from that person saying, oh my God, that was so generous, blah, 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 blah. And it's just just that appreciation and getting that back, I think it also makes you feel good. It makes you resonate with gratitude and joy. And, these are kind of the emotions and frequencies of abundance.
Yes.
The more that you're resonating on this wavelength, the more good stuff you're going to attract into your life, into your environment. And if you've got the right mindset and values as you do, as myself and Brian and stuff like that, that's going to allow you to go out there and help more people.
Dude, and that's the whole goal. The whole goal is to serve. One of my goals, and I say it to a lot of people, and even though I know it sounds ridiculous, it's one of my main ones, and it's to be remembered forever. All right. Now, why do I have that goal? Well, do you know the movie Troy with Achilles?
Yeah.
When Troy looks at that kid and he's like, no one will remember your fucking name. And he just shames that kid, bro. Yo, that hit me in my soul when I was a kid, bro. I was like, whoa, what do you mean? And that stuck with me. That really stuck with me in the aspect that, holy shit, I could be on this planet for 100 years, die, and be forgotten like that. Yeah. So I was like, well, how do I make sure that doesn't happen? Well, the only way to make sure that doesn't happen is you got to impact people. If you don't impact people, you're going to be forgotten instantly. So think about this for a minute. You could be on this planet struggling, grinding, tearing your nails into the ground for 100 fucking years and then die and be forgotten in a split second. So if you don't help people, you're basically what the fuck is the point of trying?
100%. Yeah. What legacy are you leaving?
Dude, it's everything to me to leave back something that I am remembered with. Not to mention we went to Rome. I'm walking around the Colosseum. There's gladiators that are remembered to this day, dude. That is the coolest thing in the world.
100%.
So I just believe that helping people is the best thing that you could do on the planet, period. And if you're not trying to, I don't know what the fuck your problem is. You're just...
that comes from, I think, always trying to push the envelope and become the highest version of yourself.
Yes.
Right. the most evolved, the most passionate, the most powerful version. And if that means you go and impact millions or you impact thousands, it doesn't really matter on the number. I think all that matters is that you actually just move in that direction.
Yes, dude.
Yeah, that's what I tell my kids. It's like, I don't really care, what you become, what you do, as long as whatever you approach in life, you go at it with passion, intensity, and focus. And if you fail, cool, still love you. And if you win, still love you too.
Yes, I like that.
But to wrap up, so talk to us just to wrap up, like with things coming up for you guys. I know we've got the social media mastery course coming up for any kind of trainers or anyone that's kind of wanting to take their business online. Why should they look at this course? What are the benefits of it? Talk to it.
I'm super excited about this. So it honestly depends where you're at. If you're a personal trainer that already has a little bit of social media experience and you're doing well, the CLA would be more beneficial for you because we're going to teach you how to run a business. But if you're struggling for social media growth, you have no idea what to do, you have no experience at all, and you need direction in that, the social media mastery course is going to help you have that kickstart. And again, it was actually super cool and I'm very happy. Dane literally has been doing it. And the last 2 weeks, you've reached like how many people? 3 million?
200, like seriously, my I can bring it up here just quickly, but like to give you guys some context. So, let me just hit my professional.
Because I was looking at it, your reach right here, 2.8 million, bro. Account reach.
Oh, no. Well, so it's actually for Clean Health, we applied those methods and we're actually at now over 4.2 million in the last 30 days.
Bro. Crazy.
And then even for my personal profile, I don't know if you guys can see that there, but it's basically 1,000%. I've had 1,000% increase in last month. 213,000 people reached. A 600% engagement increase. I'm adding on about 150 to 200 followers a week at the moment. Right?
That's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what I mean. Yeah. So,
like I've been doing this for a long time. I'd actually interject and say, when you said for someone not knowing out, like I know marketing, but I'm like, I actually want to learn the social game. I want to learn the content game. So I actually, just for those listening, like I did the course myself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, as part of the going through the process as we do whenever we're doing stuff like this, I did the course myself, and 3-4 weeks later, we're already seeing the benefits from it.
Dude, you sent me a screenshot and you're like, yo, check out these analytics. I was like, hell yeah, bro. That's what made me super happy. So the social media mastery course, honestly, in the simplest explanation possible, is me downloading my brain to you guys. All right. I built my Instagram from 20,000 followers, plateaued for over a year and almost quitting. By the way, I almost quit Instagram on February 20th, 2021. It was documented on my Instagram. I was about to be done. I couldn't deal with it. But from then to now, I've got up to 185,000 followers, consistently growing, even with getting a bunch of community guideline violations for speaking my mind, but that's besides the point. And then on TikTok, we built from nothing to over 1.2 plus million and continuously growing. My YouTube in the last 6 months has gone from 1,000 to 6,000 subscribers. Basically, my brain is downloaded into this course. What do I do for lighting? What do I do for camera work? What do I do for my iPhone? How do I speak into the camera? How do I conduct myself? What do I do for tonality, vision, expression? My whole goal was just to kind of give people my brain, because I would get all these questions online. People would be curious about how to grow organically and how to speak better and how to deliver their message in a conductive way. And I found myself just answering the questions over and over and over and over again, but also not being able to explain enough, because you know what that's like. People ask you a question, you'll give them a little bit of information, but there's only so much you can say in 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So I'm just basically downloading my brain into this course to help you guys scale and grow from whether you're a beginner on social media and don't understand it at all, or whether you have 2 decades of marketing experience like Dane does. You will learn what to do on social media organically. 100%. That's my whole goal. Fuck ads. All right. Too many people go down the ads route. You spend thousands upon thousands of dollars trying to grow online, and it's just a toss up because all the traffic is cold. I want to teach you how to build a community, individuals that fuck with you individually, that actually trust you, like you, know you, and want to pay you / grow with you.
Definitely. And look, I think to add to that, what I've loved about it is just how practical it is. Like a lot of courses out there just give you like all this theory, but what you've done really well is like, here's for example, carousel posts. Here's how you would do them. These are the type of CTAs you would use. This is how you keep it to the point. This is the frequency that you should put them out. Just the kind of processes there. And obviously, depending on where you're at, you're going to take that information just like any kind of tool and apply it in a different context. But, I definitely would say whether or not you're a beginner or not, we've gone and taken away those methods and applied them to Clean Health Social.
Yes,
right?
It is blowing up.
And it's literally achieving levels of growth that it never has before after, being around for 15 years and being on Instagram for a decade.
Yeah, bro.
So, super grateful to you, brother, as always. And again, that was an awesome chat today, guys. Kyle, mate, honestly, covered off on a great amount of points there. So I want to say thank you for everything that you do. I'm very grateful for you, grateful for our partnership, and grateful for the time that you just gave to us then, mate. So I salute you, brother.
Peace, brother. I appreciate it.